I'm starting to pray here, Dear Daddy, because that is more meaningful to me than even the word God or Jesus. Just for me, at least personally on my own walk with God, I come to see him as my daddy. I was born in Nicaragua to legalistic, fifth generation Seventh Adventist missionaries. My brother, who was a pastor, tells me that I gave myself to Jesus really early. I don't even remember it. But I know that I was basically a Christian and an Adventist my whole life. I felt like I had a really good view of God. I remember getting spanked as a child because I talked too loud in church. And that didn't seem to go along with suffer the little children that come unto me. I was a very sensitive kid. And my family, including my father, would make fun of me and call me a crybaby. So I learned really well in life to not be sensitive and to just do it all and take care of myself. I was very creative too. And so one day my dad asked me to haul a bunch of leaves from one side of the backyard to another place to make a pile of it. And I thought, well, this is great. So I took my tricycle and I hooked up the wagon and I hooked up the wheelbarrow and I got another little wagon thing and I got them all hooked up. I said, see, I can bring the whole pile all at once. Well, that took me like 5 or 6 hours trying to figure this all out and make it happen. And he thought that was the stupidest thing ever because it wasn't efficient. He was making fun of my creativity and I really struggled with that. But again, I thought that I had a really good view of God because of how I believed in my head. Now, I've learned in recovery that that doesn't work because why is it, if I have such a strong view of God, why is it that I don't go to him when I get into trouble? Because what I tend to do would go and do something to medicate. And so things just got worse. And so when I started looking at that and looking back at my childhood, I realized that even though I had a good view in my head of what God was like, my heart said it wasn't safe to go to God. It wasn't safe to go to authority figures because I didn't trust them because of what had happened as a kid. As I've gone through this process, I've come to see that what would happen if those parent figures had been the opposite of the way they had been. If rather than spanking me for talking loud in church, if they came around me and they helped me through that, helped me to be quiet, but welcomed me, or someone came and sat me down and welcomed me in church, that would have been one thing. Another thing with like the creativity thing, if my dad had sat me down and said, hey, oh, this is a really good idea. We could do it like this, or we could do it like that. And if we did it this way, we could even do it faster and support the creativity instead of making fun of it. And then the other one is when I would get in trouble, if I would be sensitive to hold me in his lap, to put his arms around me and try to figure out what's going on instead of calling me a crybaby. I've come to view that is what God is for me now. God is my daddy. And so when I think of God as my daddy, my good daddy, I can go to him and ask for help. I think of it from the Bible standpoint where it says, Abba, Father. That's daddy. Daddy, Father. One story I've kind of made up in my head is, so what happens when, as a 4-year-old, I spill the milk on the ground and I come in there and I feel like I have to clean it up myself. So I go in there and I start cleaning it up and I make a big mess on the floor. And so what happens is my daddy comes along and he says, oh, let me help you with that. And he gets down on the floor and he shows me how to do it. And he even goes over some of the area where I've been working and we get it all done and he goes, wow, look at that. Look at what we've done. We did a really good job. See how clean this is? And I go, yeah, this is really clean. And I'm really proud of myself and how we've done this. But deep down inside, I know that it wasn't me that did it. I knew that it was my daddy who helped me do it. So now when I get into trouble, I try to remember that, wait, he's my daddy. I can go to him. He'll teach me what I need to know, because really, I don't know how to do a whole lot, because I'm just a little 4-year-old who gets excited about things, runs ahead, trips and falls. He picks me up, holds me in his arms, and I fall asleep. That's my daddy. My name is Michael Moore, and this is my story.
I'm Pastor Tara Van Cross, and we're so glad that you've tuned into our Azure Hills Church YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every time we share new videos. We are so glad that you're here. Until next time, please know that we're praying for you as you continue to be a voice of hope.